Hello my friends and welcome to episode 41 of our Football Manager 2021 Let's Play with our Rangers. We're starting season 5 today. This is our sort of start of season preview, the review of the transfer window. Now we've brought in about £200 million worth of sales. It said 40 in the thing. I'm not convinced it's as much as 40, but we'll find out. So the first signing of the window was a lad called Florian Winkler. Now, before I click on this lad, what position did I say I did not need to buy in? It was centre back. Florian Winkler is a centre back. I just couldn't turn this guy down at £3 million, you know. He's good. He's 19 years old. There's just something about this kid. He's got so much room left to develop. Already got the wonder tag description. I just couldn't turn him down for that kind of money. On 14 grand a week, he's solid. Camille Denilak is our new goalkeeper. Now, I said I had issues with Inaki Pena after last season. He's not started the brightest, which we'll go through in the roundup of games next episode before we play our first game, our streamed game of the season. It's the first Champions League game that we're playing, because the league games are all pretty straightforward. I'm trying not to cover too much league if we can avoid it, and it also allows us to get through the January transfer window. Bit of work on aerial reach, and I think this guy could be absolutely outstanding. Great reflexes, brilliant at one-on-ones, decent passing and kicking, good handling. The aerial reach isn't bad either at 14. I just prefer that to be, 16 plus. And that's just a preference thing, but that will come with age and experience. He's already got 2 caps for Poland. Another wonder kid, costs £4 million. At worst, this is a sidestep. At best, it's a big upgrade. Andy Hendry is a young player that comes in from Airdrie. This deal was done a long time ago, but he played for 2 teams last season. He played for Ayr and Airdrie. It was from Airdrie. He had the loan at Ayr, but he played it said that he played a game, so he couldn't sign for us. He couldn't play for us until the end of the season, so I just delayed it until the end of the season, basically. He's already way out on loan to Dundee, which we'll cover soon. But he's just another young right back option at 17. He looks decent, room to grow, so hopefully he can. We've then got Kim Seung Ho. He's £2.5 million attacking midfielder, who I looked at and went, this guy's brilliant. Now, he's out on loan because he can't get a work permit. I don't know why he can't get a work permit, because he'd realistically be fighting in the team. There is some questionable areas, finishing, dribbling and whatnot. But overall, I don't think he's that far off Lovro Meyer in terms of natural position stats. So if we were to moneyball it, if you like. At 19, the rest of it can develop. He's played 3 games for South Korea. Unfortunately, on this loan, he's went and got himself a hip injury. The scout reports did say there was potential for injury issues, but hopefully he can come over it, develop himself again, come back, get a work permit, and really kick on. And then we've signed a Billy Gilmore for Chelsea, £5 million rising to 9.5. Now this is maybe kind of where that 40 million comes in. Billy Gilmore, as we know, came from the Rangers Youth Academy. Now he does not qualify for the Champions League anymore. I'm sure we had him on loan. We did here, and he counted towards Champions League registration. Now he is not. I don't know why. It still shows when you go into eligibility, it's still very much there. But it doesn't give me it. So hey ho. Not a big thing. I just kind of wanted to bring the lad home when he was available on the cheap. On the outs, so we've got Arnott, Lindsay, Fraser, Wallace, Cochrane, Jamie Hughes, Maxwell, Ross Jordan, all the way sort of on permanents that they weren't developing enough. Antonio Marin, the first team player to go at 7.25 million, a bit of a cut price deal. His contract was up at the end of the season. He was already well and truly out of the team. He'd only played 48 games for us. He did have 21 goals, which is a very, very good return for that amount of games. But I felt it was the right time to sell. He has gone to Birmingham. And then we've got Kim Seung-ho, and Lawrence McDowell away out on loan. Now to the ones that shows on the right screen. So we're staying with the ends again. And we're starting with Fatih Arp. This is a free transfer. I wasn't really in the market for strikers, but I knew there was a good chance I would try and sell Hlozik and Rami this window. Now we'll go through that in a bit. But Fatih Arp, available on a free. I don't think we could turn this down. We needed, one of the big issues we had last season is we've got good strikers, but none of them were prolific. Fatigue Park looked prolific, so I thought let's give him a chance. 4 appearances, 7 goals so far, just to give you an idea. We may hopefully have that prolific striker now, at least for European level. We then got Diego Almeida, another defender, because I said we needed defenders, didn't I? He's another free from Barcelona. Again, it was just one of those ones where I looked at it and I went, I don't think we can turn this down. Even if it means loaning a player out or two, I just felt that bringing him in was the best decision for everyone. Now, hopefully he can kick on and develop. I don't feel like he's had the best start for us. Now, he has shown a 7.25 average rating, but I feel like, again, some issues, similar to Pavlovic and Benkovic last season, where their positioning was just caught out. So maybe it's a tactic. Maybe I need to go and review that. Maybe there's been some adjustments to that, but hey-ho, we'll never know just now. We then brought Finn Malcolm in, 450k. He is a striker that has been highly recommended to me in the past. And I've looked at him a few times during this save and tried to buy him, and they were wanting big money for him. And fair enough. He's young, he's decent, there's potential here. And I thought, at this point, I was pretty set on selling Hozic and Darami. He can be my third choice striker, quite comfortably be my third choice striker. He's not the best, he'll not do it in Europe yet, maybe down the line. We could probably get him playing on that left hand side as well if need be. And he's cheap, cheerful. He's only going to increase in value. His wage isn't the biggest. He's Scottish. Excuse me. I do sleep, by the way, guys. I'm actually not long up. Which may be part of the problem. But, I felt he was just a good signing for the price. Now, Eric Gutierrez will seem as a strange one. And he is a strange one. But Club Vision sign high-profile players. And they're devastated about this. So what I've done is I searched the highest reputation of players. Just search by reputation, the highest that we could attract was superb. There was none on higher than that. Eric Gutierrez was the cheapest of these in terms of cost and wage cost. The other options were Inigo Martinez, who would have been another defender, or Marco Verratti was an option, and Marlon Pjanic, the guy that plays for Barcelona, were the options. Verratti would have cost 30 million plus 70 grand in wages. So that was a no, because he wasn't going to get in the team that often. Pjanic wanted 100 grand in wages, as did Inigo Martinez rather. So that left Eric Gutierrez, £9 million from Chivas. He's not going to get in the team that often, but hey ho, he's there as an option. He's kind of stuck in that sort of pecking order between, where he's probably better than Ross McCrory, but he's not the captain, so Ross McCrory would get the nudge above him, and not as good as Jan Castillo. And on the other side, he's not as good as Nico, and I've just got a soft spot for Billy Gilmore. So Billy Gilmore's done well when he's played, to be fair. So it's one of those where I just don't think it's going to work. And then we've got Olivier Batista-Meyer for 14.25 million, arriving from, is it Hoffenheim he arrived from? Hamburg. We know what happens to Rangers players when they come from Hamburg. The last one that I remember was George Albertz. Hopefully Batista-Meyer can be that kind of level. Doesn't have the long shots, of course, but certainly does have the free kick taken. So a different style, obviously. But he is a left winger that can play really in the 11, 10 or 7 roles. In emergency, could play in central midfield and up top as well. Central midfield, I would be talking about the Mazzaglia only, not the deep line playmaker. And he could do a job as a auxiliary striker if we really needed to as well. So he is decent. There was a reason for signing him. You probably already guessed it. We're going to go through the outs. Excuse all my yawning, by the way, guys. I promise you a slip. Philippe Benkovic away at Man United for £15 million. Now, we had a bid for 30 million last season for him that he turned down, which is frustrating. But it was at a point now where he was the highest earner at the club. Every time I was trying to renew contracts, people were wanting his wage. He wasn't guaranteed the game times over McGinty now, never mind Diego Almeida and Winkler coming in. So it was kind of a point where, right, it's the right time to sell now. So we've got him to Man United for £15 million. It's not as much as I wanted to get for him. I'm not going to deny that. But it's still money. It's probably, after wages, it's probably a loss. It's profit in terms of transfer. But after wages and signing on fees and whatnot, it will be a loss. On Benkovic, but we've got 2 seasons out of him. He's been an absolutely great servant for us. Considering he played for Celtic beforehand, I think he overcame those issues that would have been caused in real life. I think he did done enough to sort of overcame the fans. And yeah, it was just the right decision at the right time, I think. An absolute monster in the air that is no longer going to be with us. We then got Nelsino out on loan, Charles Elena away to Saluzzo for 11.25 million. Again, this was one of those ones where contract was up at the end of the season, so money is automatically reduced. He wasn't going to be getting games. He was a couple of games away from procking more money going to Barcelona. His value wasn't going to increase that much. Let's just take the 11.25, get him off the wage budget. We're bringing Gilmore in. Robbie Fraser's impressed out on loan. He's going to take over the sort of Stephen Kelly role, as I'm calling it, of the third choice when both of these guys need a rest. So we don't need to be paying big money for a Charles Elena to do that, because that's going to be rare. And it would have just been a waste of a Charles Elena realistically, and it would have caused problems within the squad. So we've got rid of him. He didn't particularly want to go, but eventually he went. And Akipena, we've doubled our money on an Akipena after a year. Bought him free for 3.1, sold him for 6.25. Now his wages were high, so that could be a break even. He was on 30 grand a week, so let's have a look. 30 times 52. 1.5 million, so that's still a profit. We've made about 1.5 million off of him before whatever the signing on fee is. I just felt we never looked as steady with him compared to Livakovic. At the back, yes, we could score for fun last season, but when it came to Europe, we needed to create a lot of chances to do that. We weren't clinical enough in Europe. In the league, that was fine. We could go and batter teams and we could create chance after chance after chance. In Europe, you don't have that luxury. In Europe, we needed a top-class goalkeeper. When we sold Livakovic, I don't feel we had that. Now, don't get me wrong. Could we have got further with Livakovic? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But I know Inaki Penna is not the guy that is going to take us further in Europe. So it was, again, a big wage where we just double our money, get out fast, or double our investment and get out fast, and, we count the wages and the signing on fee as service costs, kind of thing. So overall, he's away to Torino, where he started 2 games, conceded a goal, but his performance for us wasn't great. Leighton Stewart would have been that third choice striker, but the Finn Malcolm option became available. Santos away on loan, that is centre back Santos. Sam Probert away on loan, already scored the winning goal against Celtic. That's the only thing I'm going to say on Sam Probert. He went out on loan, and his debut for Hearts, he scored the winning goal against Celtic. Adam Hendry has recovered out on loan. And Mohamed Darabi, we did indeed manage to sell 15.75 million for the Danish international. I just felt his development wasn't there. He wasn't competing. His game time was getting less and less. Weston was very much fighting with Flozic, if not knocking Flozic out of the team, which is why I was considering selling both of them. So it was just kind of a no-brainer. Get rid of him, bring someone cheaper in, take the profit while his money was good. Flozic has not been sold, and the reason for that is his value was deteriorating. So I think we accepted 3 or 4 bids, and when his value got down to about 11 million, I went, I'm no longer out, and he rejected them all. And when his value went down to about 11 million, we're never getting a bid above his valuation. So when it went down to that, I went, I'm just taking him off the transfer list. I'm going to give him a new contract. The situation changed in a different position, which we'll cover, that Aaron Flozic can cover. We've also got Batista Mayer in that position, so again, you can kind of guess what's happened. But I felt it was the right decision to sell Darami. Malcolm Abui, I just feel I want this guy to work so much. See the amount of people in the FM Rangers group that have said to me, this guy is special. And I just see that now he's got the Finnish guy ahead of him that we bought. He's got, probably young Coombs ahead of him in that position. He's got Lovro Mayer, who is impossible to knock out the team, ahead of him. I just felt the right decision was to loan him out again and try and get him some game time. And this is the same situation for Kai Kennedy, who has gone to Empoli for £12.25 million. A little bit disappointed with this one. His value at the end of last season was 40 million. It did drop a little bit, but there was just no interest. And eventually when they bid, I was kind of just like, yeah, I'm accepting that. I wanted Kai Kennedy to work out more than anyone else in the team, youth team. For whatever reason, I felt something special with the kid now. He's played 103 times for us with 26 goals. For a developing player, that is an outstanding return, but he just wasn't ever going to get the game from in any position. Now, at this point, the Kent situation, you always will guess it now, had not happened. Had that happened before Kai Kennedy left, we might have had a different story. Kai Kennedy might have stayed and taken that left wing slot. But hey ho, we live and learn. I just couldn't see him knocking Ken out of the team. I couldn't see him knocking Mayer out of the team. It was one of those things. Let him go, have some game time with Empoli. They are, I believe, in the Serie A. So they'll hopefully go and do good. We've got Shane Turner away on loan to Dundee United. Lewis Nielsen, part of our defensive clear out, away to Benfica for 10.25 million, I think it was. He is a very good player. The problem with Lewis Nielsen was he had Benkovic above him the whole time he was here. Now he was developing and keeping pace, and he probably would have knocked on the door for Benkovic next season. Excuse me, but as you can see, he's not the aerial threat that Benkovic is. His passing's better. You know, he could have slotted into midfield if we didn't have as many options in midfield now, and he has slotted into midfield for us a few times. But it was the right hand side where he was at his best, and the problem that he has is Almeida was available on free, Winkler was available on a free. Now Winkler is kind of fighting for the left hand side slot just now. You've got Simon McGinty, who has probably surpassed him in terms of development rate and whatnot, and then you've got Ramsey behind him. You're looking at 6 people for one position. One had gone. Lewis Nielsen was the next obvious one to sell. We cashed in for a very good profit actually. We bought him for 2.3 million. We got 2 years out of him, and 32 league games, 4 goals, 1 assist, 2 man of the matches. It's a good return. I'm happy with that. And then Pavlovic away to Lyon, the big centre back sale. I wasn't sure on selling Pavlovic, My heart said this was the time to sell Pavlovic. He played 52 games for us with 18 goals. But we've got 28 million, I think it was. 26 million rising to 30 million from Lyon. I think there's no danger that he doesn't have those targets. I believe there's a sell on in there on top of that as well. So this could get more. It could get silly. He's only 23. And he's very, very good. But again, same centre back issue. That side you've got Leon King fighting for it. It was just one of those where we've got a centre back issue. Our team was interested. They're willing to pay decent money for him. Let's just not cut our losses, but take the money and run kind of thing. Mark Baloya away on loan. Jason Scullion away. And then the Ryan Kent situation. Ryan Kent, 45 million, rising to 48 million. I did not want to sell Kent, I'll be honest with you. He was the last surviving senior player. I'm not including Nathan Patterson, a senior from the original squad. He's been a great servant for us. 167 appearances, 75 goals. He was ever present in our teams, although when being rested. But again, I think once that figure gets triggered, it's time sometimes to say goodbye. I don't think he was particularly interested in going, but £110,000 a week does talk when you're on 20 odd. I think he was on maybe low 30s actually. It was a big pay rise for him. We give him his blessing. We give him our blessing. There could even be a sell on in there. Not that it'd be worth a huge amount at 48 million, but hopefully he can go down to England and impress, and it helps keep teams interested in our players. James Green away on loan. Alex Handlin away to Hibs. Calvin O'Donnell away with Millwall. Charlie Cresswell away on loan. I did try and sell Charlie Cresswell. And then the heartbreaking transfer, Nathan Patterson has gone to Aston Villa for 30 million, rising to 37 million. Now I said it would take big money for me to sell Nathan Patterson. This is big money. Look at his stats. 30 million is probably about right for him. At the time when I accepted it, I don't think he's a £30 million right back. Personally, I wouldn't spend £30 million on him. I'd overlook and I'd go elsewhere. I felt like right back again we had options. We had Doig, who's just slotted straight in. We've got Ramsey, and we've got Bruno, who's a different type of right back, but can develop into this type of right back as well. Just better defensively, and it opens the door to the pathway for those guys. It does mean that we'd lose one of our homegrown players, which is a bit of a shame, but we've charged a premium for it. He's going to go to Aston Villa in the Premier Division, hopefully going to do very, very well, and it just bodes well for us. Kelsey Ewan also out on loan, and Regan Mimno is also away to Newcastle. £1.8 million they've paid. I don't think he's ever going to get a game there. He was never going to get a game again for us. Now he's actually played 2 games. Now they are in the Championship, so that might be the exception. They're in the Championship now. If I'm right in thinking they are indeed. So hopefully he can go there to do good. We've increased our money on him a lot. He's had a couple of decent loans to help get that value out. While we're here, I'm just going to show you that we have made adjustments to the staff this season, and we've been continuing doing that for the entire save. I don't cover every staff change I make because there is a fair amount. This should settle us for a little while. Massimo Neri was very, very good, but his contract was up at the end of the season. I felt he was going to retire, and who is the new fitness coach? Lindman was a slight upgrade. So coaching wise, I'm going to show you this now. If we go to coaching assignments now, there should be someone here. Who did I sign for this position? I signed someone for this position. Was it Neil Crouchley? Definitely not. No, I didn't sign someone for that position because nobody was available, so I signed someone for other positions. That was what it was. It would have been a like-for-like replacement with Hippia, so ignore that. But our coaching staff is unbelievable just now. So I'm very, very excited to see how players continue to develop. As you see, 5-star, 5-star, 4.5, 4.5. In fact, everything's 4.5 or 5-star, bar defending tactical, which is a bit of a shame, but hey ho, is what it is. Schedule wise, we're going to cover next episode, but squad wise, it's left us with a very healthy squad, a very large squad still. We've promoted it within, Cleberson Felipe has been promoted up. He is one of the young players we got last year. Bruno's been promoted up, he's the other centre back who was up mentioning. Now we're in a bit of regression here. Why are we in regression, buddy? And I know we're in regression because that was higher, that was higher, that was higher. And I feel like that was higher as well. But anyway, he is a decent young right back at 19 years old. We can certainly develop that cross in. But as you can see, he should be a bit more of a tank to get past with his 18 tackling. Decent positioning and whatnot. Good, decent decisions, concentration, composure, etc, etc. Vision might be a bit of an issue as well. But again, we can work on that over time. That's something that he will kick on with. He's young. I'm excited to see how he really develops and does things going forward. Jan Castillo we did have bids for. He does have a £27 million release clause, and thankfully that has not been triggered, but he's not interested in renewing a contract to try and get that up yet. This kid is going to be special. I do not want to lose him for £27 million, I will guarantee you that now. Now, whether we do lose him for £27 million, or, accept a 25 with some add-ons and some sell-ons and whatnot, would probably be the smart idea here. I think that would be the very smart play, because this kid is going to have one hell of a career and we're going to have one hard job keeping on. But anyway guys, I am going to skip ahead to the next episode now. The only way that I can really do this is to click on here. This is our Champions League group, so this is where we're starting off. We're starting off with Lyon away. I felt like the first Champions League game was the one to come back. We did have no qualifier, so we are all qualified, which is great, and we have increased our rankings going forward. We're still not close to Portugal, where you get the 2 and the Europa League slot, which is the one that I want to get to. But unfortunately, I think everyone else had hard draws. Celtic failed at the Champions League. I can't remember. They failed at a Turkish side. Dundee United drew Galatasaray. I can't remember how Hibs and was it Hearts and Aberdeen or Hibs and Aberdeen? Hearts fell in Malmo in the Europa League 2, which is a shame. Ross County was one of the other ones, I think. Nope. Scottish Premier League stages last season. Who all qualified? Dundee United. Yeah, so they lost to Galatasaray, but they fought into. They turned it around. Those cheeky little devils, get in. So they've turned it around and beat Dundee United, Galatasaray 4-0 at home. Get in. So that's their group. Well, that's a tough group to be fair, with Red Star Belgrade, Guimaraes and Mönchengladbach. But again, that's more money in the league. Hopefully Dundee United can spend that wisely and continue developing the league. Hearts, as I mentioned, had a tough draw as well. They lost to Malmo. Aberdeen is the other one. Did they make it? They have made it. They also turned it round in the home leg to knock Sporting Lisbon down, and I didn't see that happening. I thought Sporting Lisbon would have been a challenge too much for them. But their group is Dinamo Kiev, Maribor and Villarreal. A tough group again, but one that they're capable of competing in. And we'll have a look at Celtic as well, just to see. As I said, they dropped out to Besiktas. Besiktas. Is that how you pronounce that? Their Europa League group is Rennes, or Rennes, I'm not sure you're supposed to pronounce that in French, apologies, and Slavia Prague, a group they should realistically get out of. So we've got potential points here actually. If we've still got 4 of our 5 teams in Europe, that could really help boost our coefficients. And I think it's one of our bad years that would be getting knocked out this year. So again, hopefully we can rise up. That will end this episode though, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and I'll hopefully catch you all next time.